Our individual opinion about reality is just based on these external influences. And due to this power of external influences and collective thoughts, we always tend to choose what most people think. Is reality all about your opinions? Doesn't matter if it's an opinion formed by a group of people or an individual, but the main point of contradiction is there might always be something else that you don't know. So we are humans and we have this tendency to form our own opinions on various things that happen in our life or around us in this world. And probabilistically, our opinion brings us this tendency to choose what's right and what's wrong, which is natural, I understand, but it's also very natural and understood that if for you something's right, but for somebody else it might be wrong. Or for you, if something's wrong, but for somebody else it could be right, in their opinion. Have you experienced this sort of contradiction in different people and their different opinions? I'm quite sure we've all seen that. Like, obviously, then why would there be these fights, jealousy, and politics among humans? It's because of their different opinions. Well, let me ask you something. Do you really think reality is what your opinion suggests it to be? No. The reality might be different from what you think, and what you think is just called your own opinion, but not the truth. Let's take a moment to understand what really makes us have our own opinion on something. So the cycle of opinions begins from experience. What you experience becomes your thought, and based on your thought, you form an opinion. Well, this was just about your own experiences and thoughts, which we call as the internal influence to form an opinion. But there's this one more aspect to this process, which we call as external influence. There could be a wide variety of things which affect your opinion about something. You could take your teachers, parents, television, internet, and books as an example for that matter. External influence consists of collective thoughts and beliefs from a huge number of people. And that is why this external influence on your thoughts is always more powerful than your internal influence to form an opinion. Well, this could be helpful or harmful based on what is its effect on the series of events that might happen later on. Like, for example, we have seen so many innocent people being trapped due to these false media trials, and on the other hand, a few media trials have also been helpful to get the actual culprit in prison. All of these unpredictable results come out of these collective opinions. Well, if I talk about reality, it has itself become way more elusive and much difficult to understand. For an individual like me or you, the reality is just what our thoughts are and what our opinions are. What we think about something becomes the reality for us. Like, for example, some of you believe that there's some God element beyond this universe which is governing everything, and on the other hand, some of you are atheists, non-believers of God or supreme power. So I'm just trying to make a point here that your individual opinion becomes your individual reality. Then how do you define reality for a certain subject if you want to? I would just say you can't. And please, don't try to do that mistake ever. You can't define reality for everybody, of course. You can define it for yourself and believe in your own terms of reality, but don't expect others to believe the same as you do. Because this world or this society that we live in is not based on a singular reality. It is a multidimensional reality. Reality could possibly be based in more than one dimension. The basic science is that our mental perception and thought process creates a representation of our world, which becomes our own truth. By saying this, I don't claim to be a know-it-all on these subjects, but I'm just trying to make you realize that if you want to understand what really shapes your opinion, you just need to be fluid and flexible like water, and improve your tendency to change your opinion and yourself by time. People's opinions might change depending on several series of events or experiences, so just understand that everybody's opinions and thoughts might change by time, and if you don't change yours, you'll simply get demoralized when you see someone close to you change by time. Of course, relationships change, friendships change, and everything changes by time, only and only based on this reality of change in opinions. So from all that, I believe I can conclude for myself at least. I don't know what you guys think, but I feel the reality is a matter that keeps changing by time. Be it anything, personal, professional, religious, political, anything. Anything that keeps changing by time, for me, it's the reality that I consider. And when I form my opinions based on reality, I just don't get demoralized when it changes, because in the back of my mind, I simply know it'll change someday. And for all those things that don't change by time, they are just fictitious and fabricated. I just don't believe in things that don't change by time. Some instances about my understanding of reality and opinions could be encapsulated within a few thoughts if I talk about my past experiences. So I've gone through several setbacks and heartbreaks, as we call it, in the past few years. I've seen so many people change as per their needs, and in the end, I always felt betrayed. The only problem in me was I never changed myself with time, but people associated with me, they changed. And I just felt left out. That's when I realized the people whom I felt betrayed me, they were never wrong. Because now I realize the only truth about reality is that it keeps changing with time. And you have to change your expectations and opinions to align yourself with reality and time. My only concern for you is to make you believe in the power of change. If you listen closely to what I've said, you'll realize we are humans, and as we grow in age, we need to grow in our thoughts as well. We need to be open-minded to different opinions and not be just stuck to our own beliefs and opinions on something. To align yourself with change, all you need is to be fluid and realize that it is not necessary that you will always be right and others are wrong. You only need to be concerned with reality, not with the opinions of who is right or who is wrong.